Hey everybody, it's Scott and Rita again. Um, this is our Cosmic Dialogue number 44. So we've been at this for a while, and you can find us at cosmicfixer.com or wherever this comes up for you. So YouTube, wherever, I don't know where you see it, but welcome, you can watch. So yeah, today I think with this one, I wanted to start on a topic, and Rita and I talked about this, that I wanted to start off on a topic about this topic of tent making. And I think we've said it before, but I've never really done a dialogue about it. So what do you think, Rita?
Yeah, I think a lot of interesting things are happening with this tent making idea. So probably explain the historical meaning behind that term
Oh,
first.
yeah. The I found this term like a few weeks back, just in reference. I don't know what the reference was, but it just came about when Rita had said something like, "It sounds like we're doing more of a church mission than it is a business at times." And I said, "Well, the church mission sometimes receives money different ways." And the idea of tent making came about. Um, Historically, the Apostle Paul would travel. This is biblically, but I'm sure there are other examples in other texts. Biblically, the Apostle Paul would actually travel from town to town with his with Priscilla and Aquila, the two other priests, one he was married to, and he would actually spread the word of Jesus. Write letters to, like, so we have like the books of Romans, Ephesians, Corinthians. They were Paul's letters to these places, and he would actually travel to them too, and they would do their ministry that way. But Paul was a tent maker. He actually made tents. He actually stitched and repaired tents for folks. So probably like now, it could be somebody who like comes and fixes your windows, cleans your windows. I don't know. Um, Back in the day, he was a tent maker. And so this is how he raised money. His skill and his vocation, he brought with him wherever he went. And so he used that skill and that vocation, or any sort of other vocation that he had, that like brought him some sort of income that could actually, if he felt, put him in those places where he could meet other people along his path and be led to share about the gospel, share about other aspects of teaching, or just to be and put in the presence of people in the moment, that um, as a gift of his fruits of his labor. So he created and made tents as his vocation to bring in income that helped to support his mission to even say spread love, to spread the message of Christ, spread the message of all the things, even in Corinthians, like the greatest of these is love. So whether or not you believe in all of the stuff back there with Christianity or not, there are also some messages he also delivered. And his tent making was what brought him the income to do those things. So, and also now today, ministers often, they refer to themselves as tent makers. They may be volunteer or part-time ministers for a small church or a rural church, and they may have like be bivocational. So they might have another job in the community. Maybe they are a carpenter, or maybe they work in technology, or they have a full-time accounting position or something like that. So they have some sort of bivocation that allows them to be prosperous, and also then they can actually do their ministry without worrying about money. It just is their gift.
So as I'm listening to you explain that, what I'm hearing is that the important part of that is not the message, not the certainly not the religious part of it, but the commitment to the process by these tent makers, by these pastors, by anybody who is bringing forth love and truth, the commitment to the process of learning more about love and truth is what's being funded by other activities. Is that how you see it?
Yes, yes, this whole commitment of um yeah, of just being guided, of being led to the next step. Certainly I think that um Paul didn't set out just to say, I'm going to raise money from offerings, and everyone's going to give me money so that I can travel to the next place. So I'm going to travel to Corinth, then I'm going to travel to see the Ephesians, and they're going to fund me with that. He didn't believe that anyone
No,
else.
certainly wasn't. And I'm going to give out a free tent here in order to gather more people who want my tents.
Right. There was no biblical click funnel for people to I'm giving out free tents so that someone might catch it and say, "Oh, I got that free tent from that Apostle Paul. I should give him some money for his ministry." It wasn't that way at all. Uh, so
A free stitching workshop with,
yes.
with, with
So
swatches of tents.
yeah, so it was also more of a vocational practice that other people could like identify with. They could, if he didn't need to minister, he could just sit and repair a tent or be in the community repairing tents. Other people needed, either information on how to repair their tents, or they needed other repairs for their dwellings, and so he could step in and actually provide that service. So and that actually like helped guide him in his process too, because not only was he ministering as a result of it, but he could actually decide in his mind, it's like, okay, through my vocation, God, the universe, source, spirit, whatever, has put me in this place. Yes, my vocation actually provides me money so that I keep going. But what if my vocation that I'm doing also just provides a space for me to be in a place with someone else and, to have conversation with them, to befriend them, to actually be invited to meet them. Hi, this is Paul. He repaired my tent. And so also to Paul, that was more of however the Spirit was leading him even through his vocation. He didn't have to like step in and say 100% of the time he was ministering, although probably he did. He probably understood this process more than anyone. I don't know. So, but those types of things like led him to that. So,
So
guess,
I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm ready to start the cosmic dialogue if you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a good segue, just a definition. So I'm just going to go into the future with this cosmic dialogue and just talk about my experience. Let's say I'm going to go in the future. I'm going to go in the future 2 years because I think it's very important for me to kind of like look at that. 2 years ago, when this whole idea of tent making came about, I was in this whole upheaval about like, where am I going to live? Where am I going to find money? Where am I going to find money to move? Rita and I were also in this process of, we are really looking at how other folks are valuing work, and we're not seeing the benefits of this process. Like a lot of people need us to be earning six figures. There's that monetary thing. And so I got really quickly into my own ideas through this process of my own self-responsibility. And then at the same time, this idea of tent making came about in my mind. I introduced it to Rita. And when I just became very quiet and decided that I needed to be very self-responsible for all of these things, I was allowed an opportunity for a roommate to come in and share my space, which allowed me to save money, about $450 per month. And then I was given the opportunity to, my friend Ryan had a window cleaning business and he needed part-time help. And so I said, oh, great. And I'd known Ryan for a while and I wanted to help serve him. There was that idea of serving someone else. And so I was also learning a skill about learning to clean windows. And then I decided to move everything locally by taking more responsibility for things and deciding there were other expenses that I could cut. And you know, wouldn't you know it, I added all those things up at that time. And I was netting and saving, and also through this part-time job where I decided this was more like a tent making venture of serving rather than just a part-time job. I found that I was netting $1,600 a month more than when I was just sitting around trying to improve this business of being an entrepreneur. What can I try to sell next? What can I try to put together as a product next? What can I give out that people really want? And how can I get to six figures? That was like the whole mindset I had. But then I stepped into this other sort of responsibility, and like it was, you remember this, Rita? It was like in a span of a week, really, week or 2 weeks, and all of a sudden this gain came to me, and I couldn't have thought of like that was when Rita and I both started seeing that the process and being dedicated to this process definitely does bring you a gain, a richness, but not necessarily in the way that you thought you really wanted in the first place. So to me now, I think this is a really big key to being an entrepreneur, is this idea of real servant leadership, servant entrepreneurship, and this idea that if you're still yourself if you need to be a tent maker, and actually being a tent maker where you actually can fund the things that you do by another vocation can actually bring you more abundance than just thinking that you have one path to go on. I get to like befriend someone who shares a room in my home. I get to sit next to, inside a van, someone who needs a friend to talk to, you know, and also do work with. I get to serve a friend by helping him become more abundant in this business. And I also become abundant because he pays me. And then that takes off pressure. And then that release of pressure actually brings other abundance to me in my business as well. So who are we to think that just because we don't receive the monetary benefit from the things that we're doing, that the process is not working for us? What have you found, Rita?
Yeah, that and in this year, I am recalling listening to you speak that it became really clear very quickly that being committed to the process, even though you and I are in this together, exploring this process, being the cosmic spelunkers that we've decided that we are, that even your results, the actions that you are led to take are going to be different than what I'm led to take, even though we're on the same path or our paths are parallel, and we're working the process together. I couldn't just go, oh, okay, well, I should go get a window cleaning job, or I should go get some other part-time job to fund this. I just kept getting the message that my greatest strength is being quiet. And that is so counterintuitive to everything about anything. Just every message we hear, you have to get your word out about you or nobody's going to know about you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but it's not it's not the guidance that I'm being given right now. And so in this process of watching you take these actions, I started feeling myself be present in the van with you and your coworker, being present in the community while you're washing windows, and then you being present in the things that I'm doing, the care that I'm giving out personally, and and various other things were coming to, like this watercolor right here is one of the things that is funding this mission that we're on. So you're right, there's no formula to this, and that's where we came up with the word spelunkers, is because we're going in, even if we have to crawl on our bellies and dig through the dirt and to find that opening. We have no idea where it is. We have no idea which branch to take, but we're going to just trust our gut, trust our instincts, our intuition, and take the one that feels right. So there's a lot of just faith. We're putting it all in faith.
And it's what a better way for me. I feel like I was prepared more, now that in that time, moving closer to my folks, getting a little more involved with the community that they live in. Everyone there in the smaller community is almost a tent maker in some sorts. And it's this whole idea of, I don't have to go somewhere just because I'm offered a position of money or power or a new job or a new position. Oh, I'm offered more money and so I'm moving. Oh, someone offered me this. No, I actually go there so that I can be of service. And my idea of moving now, that's what it turned into. And it all started from this whole, it all started because I almost rented an apartment, putting down a deposit, and then I would have had to borrow money or ask for money for repairs for my car. And when I said, no, I'm going to actually take the longer route and learn some more things, that was the better route. I got to learn how this whole process of on my own about what that meant for me, to be of service to other people, to be a soul friend, not out of my own expectation, not out of, and in this process, we're dedicated to the process. We can't always, like that Mick Jagger song, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And how very naive I think that I was, thinking that, the way I'm going to be validated through this work that I'm doing, the way that I will be validated is when I see that I have money coming in from this work, from my clients who come to me for spiritual direction or coaching, or who come to Rita and she does 15 circles in a week, and then we get to see all of these things. We could have given up when we said, we don't see that. What do you mean I have to make tents? I don't want a tent. I want to make circles. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a coach. I don't want to make tents. Well, my tent making allowed me to have someone in my home that I could befriend and be a soul friend to. My tent making allowed me to sit next to someone in a van every day that I go to work who needed that soul friend as well. And I feel like I'm more present. I actually also became a servant to Rita's work with the circles, which lets me be more present with that. And so I feel like this work has actually brought abundance. What is that? 1,600, that's like $19,000 in a year. Who wouldn't, that changes people's lives, and I feel like that's what happened. Just because it didn't come from this coaching area, but it came from these other areas where I could open my life up. This is a whole new realm for what it means to be an entrepreneur now, I think. A whole new realm. And I talk about this all the time now. with anybody who comes to me saying, yeah, but I want to do this. I don't want to make tents. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do this, and I want to be rich, and I want to be famous. And, you know, it's, but being dedicated to this work, like you said, Rita, the last few years has
But
really,
we have come in contact. Yeah, yeah, and we've come in contact with people who, because we put the service together in a word that is thrown around of being of service to your clients, but really it's in order to get from them. But we're finding these souls who really want to serve the greater good and come together and multiply it. Is the curiosity of what will happen when we do this, and to watch other people take on those experiments. And when we are so completely not operating from a formula, there's no needs to learn different lessons. Nobody can do it the way I'm doing it and have it work for them, because we're that unique. And we're just creating this space for people to discover what their own way is, regardless of what the world tells them has to happen for them to have security and validation and be the grown-up in the way that the world tells you that you're supposed to be. There's intense responsibility in having faith and taking action from a place of faith.
that is like, I think that's very important. The huge responsibility for taking action from a point of faith is exactly what I feel like why we keep going. It's not about a validation of monetary gain. It's not about a validation of how many people we have in our group program. It's not a validation of how many people give us good likes on Facebook or in a group, or you know, it used to be sometimes we joke like, oh, we must be doing something great. Someone else left. So just like the spelunking thing, you know, I went spelunking in college. 10 of us went in. Only 3 of us got to the end. Some would get stuck. Some would freak out. The first time they'd crawl in their belly, they're like, I'm out of here.
10 and 3.
10 to
Did you notice those numbers?
Oh my gosh, you're right. 10 to 3. So,
that's another video.
that is another video. That's a total other video. Anything else you want to talk about in the last couple of years about this process?
I don't know. We're on to something big. I don't know what's showing up on the video, but the internet.
Yeah, I'm seeing it go fuzzy in and out, so I think we are going into something big. There's a huge topic that the resistance minions are trying to quell. So with that, I probably will just stop the recording and let everyone make their own conclusions about this whole idea of tent making in abundance. Getting out of our head. Let the third hand guide you. Let this universe source guide you. Your abundance could show up in different ways, and I think it's just you just need to discover that.
Yes, do it on your own or join us, because we're doing the group Cosmic Dialogues. So find us at cosmicfixer.com.
Yes, cosmicfixer.com or on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Rita.